Hello and welcome to the channel. I am your host for the day. I am Bragi.
And I'm Egil. Hi.
Now today we are here for a new video on the Viking runes. So, oh yes, it's a Wednesday. Hashtag Rune Wednesday. And today's video is called 9 Tips and Tricks for Rune Casting. So,
Wow.
I think this will be quite interesting.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this fundamental video before we start it, Egil?
Yeah, well, they're things that people should know or be aware of. But, yeah.
Well, let's carry on then. So, number 1, the first tip and trick I recommend is to get to know your runes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that sounds obvious, but it's not. Yes, you've got your rune set, but they become part of you, if you like, in that you charge them up and you have to know what the actual runes mean.
Well, of course, and then we'll go into that into tip number 2. And tip number 2 is actually to get to know the runes themselves, study the runes.
There are a number of publications out there. You know the book I use, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good book for you. And what I would suggest you do is to go around the bookshops, the craft books, and have a look, read through. Don't just buy it because it says runes, because there's some that you'll love, some that you'll think, why on earth waste the paper? Been there, done that, but it's whatever resonates with you. So there are a lot of books out there. You can probably plough the internet now.
Oh, yes, but I don't think the best way of getting to know your runes is actually by meditating on your runes and getting to know your runes yourself rather than relying on somebody else's knowledge.
And also to charge them. A lot of it is intuition.
Of course so.
Which will come to you, and you can't walk through it in one day. I mean, I've been doing it 30 years and I still got parts I need to know.
Of course.
So, what's the
So
next
number
one?
3 is the third tip we recommend is to make a set of runes yourself.
There are a lot of people out there who will make them for you. Obviously, it's more strong if you yourself can do it. But if you're like me, got 2 left hands and can't do it, buy them. But someone like Bragi, who makes rune sets, why not? You make your own. You can make them out of organic material. Mine are clay. You can get them out of wood. You can get them slate. You know the stuff you get
Oh yes,
from
you
building
go to a
yard.
good beach, you can find nice slate pebbles.
Which is a bit difficult for us because we're far away from the sea.
Well, we are landlocked in Derbyshire.
Yeah, but that's no excuse. It's a good trip out to York, Whitby, or Scarborough, or even if you want to go to Skeggy or somewhere like that. It's the washing of the ocean that does it. And some people say, "Oh, use blood." Well, I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
Because your blood clots anyway, or you get yourself an infection.
I mean, it's a
not
bit
good.
It's a bit over the top, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is it. But at the same time, paint them or
Well, you
burn
would
them.
paint them or burn them in with a burnish. Yeah.
You can use them out of bone if you like.
Yes.
Again,
It's a bit more harder to do that.
I would suggest nice wood. Pine. It's nice soft wood.
I like a good bit of ash. It's a brilliant wood.
Some people suggest round runes. I'm oblong because sometimes it's difficult to read with whether they're upright or reversed.
If you're making round runes, then you've got to indicate the line underneath so you know when they're upside down.
Yeah.
If you've got rectangular runes, then you're always going to know which is upside down and which is the right way up.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very interesting little tip. So the fourth one, number 4, is respect the runes.
Yeah.
And why do we want to respect the runes, Egil?
Well, when I was at university, my flatmate actually got a set of runes in the rune book and was, shall we say, very flippant about the gods and everything else. And he didn't have much luck and he ended up selling them on to somebody else. These are not a toy. They're not something you just say after a few cocktails, "Oh yes, come on, let's have..." No, these are serious objects. They are a key or bridge from the next world to our world, and all you are is a transmitter of that. You don't have magical powers, nobody does. Right? The only people who have that are usually in a padded cell. You're just the conduit through which the energy flows. But respect them for what they are. These are an ancient oracle, and I, for one, have learnt a heck of a lot from it. and it's quite fun and enjoyable to learn about it. So yeah, don't take the mickey. You don't do that.
Yes, be respectful to the runes. I think it's very important.
Absolutely.
So the next tip, and tip number 5, is learn from the runes themselves.
Yeah.
The runes will teach you.
They are a very harsh teacher in some ways. I am a very impatient person, and of course they try you. When I say they, I mean the gods who operate through the runes. I have been taught a lot of things. One of it is forgiveness. Patience is another. And look at what's there. Not what you want to see, but what is there. And that's the last one is very important, because you say, oh, well, I can see that. No, look at it. There are several angles from which you can look at it. And I learnt more about myself through doing runes and rune course than I have done in all the years of being a child and scholar and all this rubbish. So, yeah.
So the next tip, and that's tip number 6, is that books and YouTube videos will only teach you so much about the runes. Experience is the key to learning the runes.
One thing you've got to know about the runes, there are people with whom it comes like that, and others who should not go anywhere near the runes, because you've got to have a stable mind to do it. You've got to be, if you're stressed out, you're no good to anyone else, because you yourself need counselling. So first of all, books will tell you everything you like, and I liken it to a television set. You can have the biggest television with all the bells and whistles, CD player and all the
DVD,
the whole lot. But if it doesn't have electricity, it's just a big thing in the corner of your room. And it's the same with the runes. If you don't have belief in it, you can read all the books in the world. I mean, you think about it, the original runecasters didn't have books.
Of course not.
It goes back to what I said earlier about intuition. Intuition, it'll come to you, but you've got to keep doing it. You've got to keep going there. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. And like I say, if you treat them as a joke, they'll treat you as a joke.
Well, of course, so you get out of them what you put in.
And let me tell you, the gods have a pretty brutal sense of humour at times. So, yes, by all means look at the books and things like that. They look pretty when you read them. They're pretty much the same thing over and over again. But it's worth looking at. But it comes from within you yourself. And one of the things I've found is that women are far more receptive than men. Whether they have more intuition, I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. But, yeah. So the main thing is enjoy it as well. What's the next?
So, tip number 7 is never ask for stupid things like money or fame or fortune. Egil, explain this.
I've had people say to me, who's going to win the Grand National? And I said, first one past the post. And that's basically all you're going to get. It's not there as a mystical fruit machine. You put in a wish, pull the lever, and out comes the result. No, they are not there to tell you what lottery numbers are, or am I going to be in another Anton deck or whatever. It's there to help you with the personal growth, or the growth of your client, or as we call them, the querent. So again, it's making respect for what you're doing, and they are there to guide you. And the good thing about the runes is you can do your cast, and I've said this in previous broadcasts, it gives you if you want this to happen, then you've got to do this, that and that. If you don't want that to happen, don't follow it. But it's not going to tell you anything about fame or fortune. You've either got the thing to make you famous, or you haven't. And I'm afraid you may want to be the next, I don't know, top singer or dancer or whatever, but if you haven't got the skill, you ain't going to get there. So just be content with what you've got and explore your options. It may show you that if you go this way, you'll be more successful than if you do that. But that's as far as it'll go. It's up to you to take it on. to the next level.
And tip number 8, smacking mate, this is a good one. Practice positive magic. And can you explain why you should always practice positive magic and not negative?
Magic. Basically, it takes a lot of time and experience. Magic is something you don't mess with. And if you're doing negative magic, you don't know what's going on there. Classic case is Ouija boards. Thing is, demons, nastiness doesn't come into your house unless you invite it or open a portal for it to be so. You have to be protected, you have to know how to protect it. But what about the other people who come in there? You've got to protect them, you've got to protect your... No, just leave it alone. As you progress, you'll learn various things. And people think, oh yeah, it's Paul Daniels thing, No, it's not. It's far more serious.
Who's Paul Daniels? People don't know.
He's a dead magician.
Yes. Very good back in the day.
Well, not now because he's dead.
I know, well.
But the point is,
magic for you.
It's rather like getting somebody who is never driven a car, getting in a Ferrari and going full blast down the motorway and wondering why they come to grief. It's not necessarily you that come to grief, but it's people around you. So don't mess with it. It's not a joke. There's plenty of books out there, but it's like everything else. You have to start at the beginning. And so-called bad magic, well, if you imagine the universe is in balance, so-called bad magic can tip it, and that's called chaos magic, and you don't want to deal with that because people like us have to sort it out. And believe you and me, I've got better things to do than...
Is magic neutral?
Oh, it depends. It's an energy that you're a conduit, and magic is using influences. See here.
Yes.
Imagine that. It's an electrical circuit.
Yes. Show them on camera. Yes.
Yeah. And the energy flows through that and it happens. But it's not flash bang, out comes a pixie. It's subtle. And it can be accumulative. But don't mess with it. If you don't know it, or you just don't do it. Okay? Just end of. Because there's a lot of grief out there.
I think negativity attracts negativity,
yeah.
whilst positivity attracts positivity.
Even if you're doing so-called positive stuff, know exactly what you're doing and how to undo it if you do it. It's like anything else. Unless you know what's going on there, don't go in.
I think the main bit of advice I'm getting from here from Egil is if you're not sure, don't do it.
Yeah.
So this goes on to the last tip of this 9 little tip video, tips and tricks for rune casting. And the 9th one is simply that runes make a good gift. They make great gifts.
Yeah, they do. I mean, if people are into the Norse tradition, I can imagine some sectors of society.
Yeah, they won't go and give one to your local big vicar.
You may say that, I couldn't comment, but they do make nice gifts. But again, it's not a toy to be played with. Now, one thing you can do with the runes is to make 24 biscuits.
Yes.
And you can ice them.
Yes.
And then hide them around the house and let the children find them.
That's a good way to introduce the runes to children as well.
And it's also carrying on the tradition of it. Or maybe you do a nice chocolate cake with the Futhark on it.
Yeah, I like biscuits.
Yeah, and some Norse signs on it. And everybody has a slice.
A runic gatto.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this is it. I mean, this is what I like about the sort of non-Christian religions. I'm not slagging the Christians off.
No.
But I find it far more fun. After the ceremonies, you have what's called cake and ales. You have a good time. I'm sure there are congregations of the Christians who do the same.
I'm sure Christians party just as hard as pagans.
It's like if you see the TV series Pioneer Woman.
Yes.
Yep. She does a lot of catering for the church.
Is that on the BBC?
No, it's on the Food Channel.
Food Channel.
Freeview 41. Well worth looking at. Although her dishes, I have to alter them to my pocket. Bear in mind that her husband's a cattle rancher, so meat's not a problem. But it's an ideal as well for, YouTube channel.
Yes.
But anyway,
We hope you enjoyed this little video on 9 tips and tricks for rune casting. And if you'd like to see more little list videos like this on the channel, we do have 1 or 2 in mind, including 1 or 2 which you might not expect us to film. So please leave a comment in your normal way, you know, hashtag Rune Wednesday. Show your respect for the runes. That's when we publish these videos. And we're hoping that by the end of the year, by the start of 2020, we would have started filming the next season, season 2. So
maybe they'd like to leave a comment where all things are wonderful.
Yes.
You could press the bar, then the
give it a thumbs up,
the bell, and all will be revealed to you. But
indeed.
Yeah, I think that's all we can talk about at the moment.
Yes.
But so it's goodbye from me,
and it's a goodbye from me as well. Goodbye from both of us.
Woof,
Goodbye.
woof.